Right, this is going to be a little crash course, a speedy one in how to do lettering. So let's go, if we go on school folder, I'll take a brand new one, and let's say if we go insert, so I'll take a photo because I want to put the writing here, yeah, in this area, and which means I'm literally going to take a photo of that. Now when we have the photo, we press use the photo, and that's it. So we're going to put the skin on the side, we don't need it now. Size, we're going to measure that later on. So lettering, yeah. So what I want to do is I want to add, well, I did actually ask my client what word should I use, and he said savage. So I was like, cool, I can roll with that. Let's say if we go to, obviously I need to select it all. Let's say if I want to go to Old English. So I think like Old English is probably the easiest where you should start, just because it gives a good foundation. That doesn't look like a V, but anyways. So let's say that. Then if we click this rasterize, this turned into image just now. Then we go into this store. Then I will pull that down and I will shift the whole thing a little bit sideways. Yeah. So it's all a little bit off, but it's straight in a sense. All of it equal. So when it comes to lettering tattoos, any lettering tattoos, you basically have exactly the same foundations what you have in calligraphy, which means the gaps between the letters are the same. So where are we? So distance here is the distance here, yeah? So that you have the same. Then the angle, so let's say this is 90 degrees, whatever, that's 90. So if this is, that's 45, that's probably about 75. If this is that degree, all of the writing needs to be set like the same. So that kind of goes, if you actually do that by your hand, yeah, your writing needs to be exactly the same angle, all of them. Yeah, makes sense? You cannot have writing what goes like this, and then you have you like this, and then you decide you want to do it here, and the next one is, you know what I mean, like it feels odd, it's off, it's not straight, it's not clean, it's not good. So what we have is, that's why I put this writing in, because I thought it's a good foundation, good base, easier to understand for you, that all the writing was the same, we just tilted. They are all the same length underneath, as in like they all are from there to there, yeah, pretty much all of them. Obviously you got the big ones going higher, and you have the small ones going underneath, but majority they equal. So it's a lot of the word consistency again comes in. But what I would do is basically we take that as a base, and then let's say if we go to red, I'll go to settings, I'm gonna put down this to like here, and now we're gonna play around. Yeah, we need to make it fun, we need to make it cool, make it interesting, and which means we have all this space, so we can technically play around a lot. So what do we want to do? Let's say if I pull pull this there, and if I want to pull the S more like this. So this is where we are just sketching, yeah. You're not like drawing the lines. This is you playing around. And I would probably play around with this font just because it gives a foundation, gives a base. Obviously you can then play around afterwards as you please, as you want, but it gives you the idea. I don't like that. Nope. I don't like this part of the S. I don't like that straight line. I need to figure out what to do in the bottom. Yeah, that could work potentially. Maybe I need to pull that line here instead of there. So this is where we can play around. A, because it's a repeated one, I would just make another one, another layer basically, and do the A on another layer, because we can just copy them. Which A you pick to choose, that's kind of up to you, because A's are this, and then there's like the standard A, so which kind of, it's down to you which one you want to aim for. I'm not even set on one. I want to see where this is gonna lead me to, because I could be like, a lot of times I'm like, you know what, fuck it, and then I just end up using something else. Oh, I forgot about that A is actually, anyway, so let's go on that layer. I will just select that, and then we're gonna copy paste, and then I can drop that here, just so again we have exactly the same one. G, how do we gonna draw the G? Let's say we go like this, and then here we probably need to make few. That's like the standard one. That's probably what people would expect us to do. Maybe a flick there. I kind of want to make it complicated, but I don't want to make it actually too complicated. Maybe a double line there. Maybe another one here, or maybe more like this. And then this goes back in. So it's all about a nice flow. Yeah, you got, even here when they like separate, they need to go the same angles and same, like all needs to be cohesive, whatever that means. And then let's say for the E, there's like a font that I made for myself, and then whenever I draw, I kind of naturally kind of tend like lean into that. So let's say we have that done. Let's say we take the savage away. Now we can see what we got, and we're like, you know what, it kind of looks cool, kind of not. It looks strange. And mostly when I do writing, I have to like redo multiple times to land on something that I actually like. So let's say, let's make the S a lot bigger, just because I want it bigger. That A just looks weird, doesn't it? I don't really like that A. Maybe we do need to just go for that generic basic A, which would be from there to about there. Yeah, that looks a bit cooler now. Well, not cooler, just maybe more readable. So let's say if we get rid of this guy. I do get quite picky when it comes to writing. I do like to make it the way I want it. And let's say if we bring this guy here. So basically I just copy that. Let's say if that goes up to there, that goes, merges down, and you go, all of them can go back in here. So you can kind of see, but we don't need to see too much. There, that's cool. What happens to the V? Maybe I need to make the V, maybe this side, the V needs to be the one what comes in. And then I want to make a flick, and the flick needs to have a little diamond in the end, just because why not? And then I don't like how these are almost too close. One of them needs to be higher. So this guy needs to be a little bit higher. And again, even if we print out and this goes underneath the leaf, I'm sound with that. So that could nicely go underneath there. That's cool. Maybe I could even make a little flick there. Yeah. Basically, that gets red. That should be cool. I like that. That looks nice as well. That gets shaded in. What happens here? Do we need that line underneath? If we do, then it needs to follow and needs to go inside. It kind of makes sense. Maybe I need to make a spike here as well. Yeah? Is that cool? Do we need the spikes? We probably, if we have spikes here, we need consistency, which means we need spikes elsewhere. Which means we need to introduce some spikes elsewhere, just so it repeats and the pattern kind of goes. So maybe I make here like a little spike. That'll be cool. I like that. Then the V, that could be there. That's cool. I could make another spike there, like it was there actually. I could keep that. I quite like that. Then I could just have a little spike coming out there. Just why not? I think this by accident I can also keep. This cannot finish there. Either it needs to be longer or shorter, but it can't finish exactly where that is. That's cool. I can maybe finish this with a more spike as well. I like that. That's nice. Then because of this finish there, I will replicate that almost here. So that's cool. What do we do here? I could potentially spike that like that. Little twist there. We'll see how that looks in the end. And then this just already happened to have that. Then let's say if we want to like a dent in the middle, yeah, in the middle of the writing, I will pull line like that. So all of them can have the dent the same place. What I mean by that is, you know, when they do like little triangles coming out like that, yeah. So they all have exactly on the same line. So it's again symmetry, cohesive, or same thing. So we're gonna draw some little small triangles there on both sides everywhere. So now we got the spikies as repeatable. Maybe I need to pull that a bit lower so it goes there instead of there, just so it doesn't touch that guy there. So I can pull that there. That's cool. I like that. Maybe I need to pull this a little bit higher like that. Or maybe I need to make all this I don't even know if I'm on the right layer. Yeah, that's cool. So all of that could actually go that size. And then we have the writing, the G coming there more. So that fulfills this. This guy obviously can't be that low now. So he probably needs to go a little bit more like there. Maybe a little flick. There. That's there. That's there. What else is missing? This guy could have a spike there. Or maybe not. Maybe it takes too much attention away. Maybe I can make sharper end there. No. Well, I can make a sharper end, but that needs to stay about then. So at this stage, I'm like, I kind of like it, kind of not. So maybe I need to, does that make sense? Maybe I need to twirl this around. So I'm pretty sure when I stand so that probably not going to sit nicely there. So it could be a potentially that I just have to make it up as I go. As in like when I put the stencil on the fake skin here, then it kind of reveals what's left. So what do we do now? We make another layer. We keep, I don't know what size you want to go for. And we start to clean up. I wouldn't steal this coal as a final layer. I'm probably going to make some little dents myself. Just, I like when it's broken. Sometimes this could actually be the final. As in like, it actually comes out really nice. And you're like, you know what, this is my final layer. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't listen good. So you never know. Let's say we go here, then we turn around. This actually looks pretty nice. I might keep it as it is. I mostly do make some like little dents and bends inside the writings just because it looks cool. And then here I do want to make sure that goes parallel to the body. Yeah, that's like the main S. So we need to make sure it goes parallel. I could do a little flick like that just so it kind of fits the story. Then it goes there, and again it needs to go parallel here. So if there's a dent, I can imitate the dent there. It goes here, and then from here you could turn it back, and then makes a holes in there, and then does again. And then the writing could go here, then flicks up back here, goes, gets thicker, maybe a dent inwards, and then back out, and then goes all the way here. So far so good. I like where this is going. Do we need that long line? Probably do. It just adds a little bit more something. I'll put it like here-ish. And then we can make a flick there. But I have a feeling that this flick I'll need to like alter depending on where it lands on the skin. Because to print that it fits perfectly, it's pretty impossible. So when we make these lines, yeah, remember, make sure they all the same thickness, same angles. So what happened with the spike here? Do I make a spike there or should I leave it? I'm probably gonna leave it. I don't like the angle. He needs to curve a little bit more. That's it. That looks way better now. And spike down, triangle, goes back up. Spike, triangle, goes back up. From spike to triangle. And then let's make a nice flick. Triangle, spiky bit, and then goes here. That looks nice. See what I meant by Old English as a good practice base? It gave you the angles. It gave you some sorts of letter foundation. Obviously you can change it, you can top it up, you can make it more swirly. But I think if you have never done writing before, I think it's a good foundation to play around. A good start, a good idea. I would probably explore the capital letters, try to like replicate them, make them more fun, make them more spiky, make them less spiky, make them more swirl. As in like if you make 10 different, where's the A? So I would not draw A twice, I would just copy because we already done once. And then imagine this is like a printing machine where you just get printed twice. And I would probably recommend if you do writing, so get some capitals, draw some capitals, and do multiple versions for the same capital. And you will see that you will basically develop your own handwriting. You will make your own font. You will make it in your own way letters. And you'll be like, you know what, I like the more clean here. I like the more swirly there. I like the more this here, I like the more this there. And you will see that you actually will develop a brand new way of writing, and you will start to write the way you want them to be. Does that look weird? That does look weird then. I think it should be the same thickness longer. Now it's like too thick. Is that right? That looks alright. Maybe I do need to just leave the dent there, and then from the dent pull down. Yeah, it still looks a bit strange, but oh well. So that's cool. And now let's go from this flick. Let's see, have this guy here, and then so I basically follow the shape, and then let's say we touch. I just want to have a little bit higher, and then we pull down, and then I should probably also make a dent, just because we did that on S, and I can see that we actually forgot about it in other letters, which means I will make those dents in a second. I just want to do, I want to get these letters more complete. Does the E look alright? I'm not sold on that E. I need that little triangle there, and then I need this. So the E goes straight into a font I developed for myself. That's actually where my logo comes from the same from this font. And I've like, since I made it, I can't draw any E's. There's a letter E different, so I'm kind of struggling here to make it look alright. Does that look alright? It doesn't. Nah, it doesn't belong in this font. How would E look in this font? It would have this end, so it needs to go there, flick around, and then does this, and then it has a triangle, and then it goes like this. But then how do I bend that line? From here? Yeah, makes sense? Does that look alright? Yeah? It does look alright, doesn't it? It does look alright. I think the gap here is a little bit too big. I can notice the gaps here are smaller, so but then I have this G gap, G line, so I'm gonna make that there. Gonna get this E pulled in tiny bit closer. Yeah, makes sense. Cool. And then if we go on a G, I can make the G maybe like here. Yeah? No, not a good idea. Maybe all of this should follow more the E shape, like that. And then obviously iPad's dying, and back there. Yeah? That does look more sense, doesn't it? It does look a little bit better. That's cool. I like that. I still do like that flick there. So we need to find the way to get the flick there. Do I? No, that does look cool. That's no good. Maybe I just need shift around the E. Yeah? Will that look alright? No. Where do we find the start? Do I push that out? No. I guess we will just need to... Does that look alright? No. Let's see if we can just kind of bend the universe and make it happen. Nope. Nope. Does that look alright? It doesn't look bad. Well, we'll see what the spider does, but the bat. Maybe I'll need to move this line a little bit. We also forgot about this guy. So that's cool. Now I'm gonna go to eraser. I'm gonna make it small, and I'm just gonna erase some holes. So I'm gonna merge down, there. We don't need that anymore. So this guy, yeah. Now I'm just gonna randomly cut some holes and put some dents in there. Yeah, because we did S for the dents, we need to repeat the pattern. We need to repeat the actions. Otherwise, it would not look successfully correct. Yeah. See how it starts to make sense when you got some dents in there. That's what we chose to do, and we kind of have to continue. The G still looks weird. I'm not really like happily satisfied. I think this also doesn't follow perfectly that. So let's do another one where we follows more. That makes a little bit more sense. Maybe I shouldn't have this that long. Maybe that needs to go a little bit smaller, like that. Then that becomes the longest. This doesn't look clean anymore. Let's make it cleaner. That looks a little bit cleaner. Joins there. That looks cool. See how these small, tiny nuances actually change the game, or makes the game, or breaks the game. So that's that. And then let's say I'm gonna take the thinnest line that we have. Actually, I should all this turn into black and gray. Curves, black. So that's black. And what we should do is draw the double lining, which is what we're gonna pull with 3 round liner. And these lines, sometimes people have like little bumps like that, purposely created, like unevenness again. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to shade this background so the letters, the writing becomes the white part, the light part. So it'll be a lot of lining. It will be a lot of work to do. And then even to make this stencil, it'll take us some time to go all the way around. Or we can do the writing then solid black them out. Where are we? Which layer? This layer. So it is potential we can like black these out. It looks more like a tribal, which is also would be pretty cool. And then shading here, well, obviously it goes all there, but it would, the shading there would be darker, and then basically you would end up with white light around the letters. And mostly when we are drawing these double lines, you try to keep same distance, yeah, same distance from a side. Obviously it's not like perfect, because you kind of need to make that unevenness. I think that's a word. But majority still try to have like you have here, and then you just continue and have consistent distance against it, or consistent distance away from it. Like here, and then you can continue there, and you can with little dents and bends kind of replicate what these big shapes are doing. And it's a small little things, but it'll pay off massively. So same-ish distance from all the edges. Mostly this style comes from Chicano, this type of writing. And then obviously people have bended into more graffiti, into more color graffiti, into more calligraphy, into more all sorts of styles that they fancied. And then obviously some people say, I'll do it my way, and then his way was replicated so many times by so many people that it becomes like a new style in the industry. But that was essentially somebody's way of doing things, which then got almost too carried away, stolen from so many people. So now we just need to be quite patient and get the middle sections colored in, but we still need to judge. So we are the same distance here, kind of there. And then I know sometimes we shrink the distance to just squeeze in, otherwise leaving so much white there would kind of feel illegal. And then sometimes we do make some extra like days just because why not? Again, like here we dented the lines inwards. Sometimes we can dent the lines outwards. Oh man, I forgot the iPod's dying. It's always the case, isn't it? The iPod's always dying. It's never happy. It's never full. It's never like satisfied. It always fucking dies. It's always the case. Now I need to go find charger somewhere. But essentially, I'm probably going to finish the video here then. That's what you do. And then you basically outline all of that around it. Then I would just press print on the printer, and I'm just going to print this out. That's it. And then I get a stencil there, like a stencil does the stencils. So crash course when it comes to drawing, that's kind of what we do. That's what I like to do. Get some base underneath, then do the sketch on top of it, and then sketch on top of a sketch, and then the finals on top of a final. And then you basically do layer after layer after layer after layer till you're satisfied, you're happy. And even if you're not happy with this, you can still desaturate that, and you can still draw on top of it. If you want to finalize stuff on top of it, you can draw unlimited times the new versions. And sometimes I've done that where I save this, but then I go and draw again to see if I can actually improve this or not. And then sometimes, you know what, the improvements, what I believed they look like improvements, I actually destroyed it and made it worse. So therefore go back to the original. So but that's kind of like my way of building the writing up. So you're gonna see this on a fake skin soon to be tattooed. You're gonna watch those videos. So I'll see you in those.